Hello there, Scorpions, and welcome back to Sunshine for the Soul. So happy you could hang out with me today for your autumn equinox reading. We're getting to the end of the month. I'm getting super excited about October. I love September and October. They're my favorite months. I love everything to do with Halloween and dressing up. Today I'm pulling a Shaman's Dream Oracle card for you, and we're taking a look at what in us do we need to fall back in love with us. What part have we long neglected? And now we're looking to take action to realign ourselves into better balance with an understanding of those parts of us that maybe we didn't quite understand, or maybe that we needed some direction on. We know fall is a time of reaping the harvest. It's bringing into fruition all of the rewards that we have invested in. So we planted the seeds, we nurtured those seeds, made sure they had adequate sunlight and water. We tend to certain things in our life so that we can evolve and place ourselves in a position that allows us more satisfaction and more fulfillment. Now, on our journey of self-discovery, this is also called your ascension or spiritual awakening. We go through a hard time of healing and growth while we are becoming more self-aware. Those dense low energies that are being held in our lower chakra systems need to be cleansed out, and the more light that comes in, the more room there needs to be. So we have to out with the old and in with the new. This is a process of us awakening to our divinity. And after we go through some healing, now is the time for integration. Fall is the time to harvest the fruits of our labor, of everything we've learned, and put it into action. So for you, we pulled card number 17. We've got Eye of the Needle, and this is talking about clarity, a positive outcome, or your intentionality. Now, when I see the word intentionality, I think of intention in manifesting. If you haven't seen my Super Blue Moon video, although it's labeled Super Blue Moon, don't let that scare you. I go through a step-by-step process of manifesting of any time of the year. Obviously, we don't have to wait for blue moons, equinoxes, lunar eclipses or anything like that. We have the ability to manifest at any given moment in our lives. So if you haven't checked that out, you might want to sneak on over there and take a peek at that. But we look at the eye of the needle and we see a very narrow opening. And I just had to add this fun little story, not really fun, but it made me remember that when I was 16 years old, I went running up the stairs of my house and to my surprise, woke up the next morning with my foot swollen twice as much as it should be, with it being very painful. Wasn't quite sure what had happened. I had to go to the emergency room and get an x-ray, and what they found in my foot was that I had stepped on a sewing needle. The eye of the needle had broke off and had split into two pieces between my big toe and my second toe. Now, this was very painful. I was not able to walk on that foot forever until that healed. They decided that it was better to leave it in there than to go in and mess around with possibly my mobility. So now I have these two little metal fragments of a sewing needle in my right foot. So that's just a fun fact on the side note. Let's bring that into what this means, this clarity, these positive outcomes. The next thought I had was, I come from a Christian background. Prior, I went to a Christian school and a Christian college, two of them. It reminded me of that Bible verse about the camel and the eye of the needle, so I had to go look it up. I knew it was relevant. And Matthew 9:23-24 says, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says, "Assuredly, I say to you that it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And I say again, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God." I recently watched the movie Kingdom of Heaven with Orlando Bloom. Now, that movie, I love that movie. That's one of my really top movies that I enjoy watching. But in that movie, at the very end, after he has fought so valiantly to keep Saladin out of Jerusalem, there was a constant battle between the Christians and the Muslims for Jerusalem and its holy places, which still goes on to today. But at the end of it, all his fighting was in order to save the people. He wanted to fight hard enough and long enough so that Saladin Saladin would respect his fight and kind of back him up against the wall where he would have no choice but to either all of them would destroy themselves or offer safe passage for all the citizens of Jerusalem at the time. So when he finally gives Saladin the surrender and they come to terms, and Saladin grants him all the women, men, children can go and walk to the sea and, relocate themselves, Orlando Bloom turns around and says to the masses, a building is not the kingdom of heaven. A kingdom of heaven place or a situation, cannot just be the kingdom of heaven. And he explains how the kingdom of heaven is found within. It starts within. So I see this card as a reminder that being connected to source through the process of reconnecting to ourselves, I believe that's how we enter the kingdom of heaven, and I believe it must be intentional. The other part of that is it says if you're focused on riches, if you're focused on material aspects of life, and you're not focused on your relationship with Source, if you're not focused on your mission, that it's easier to put a camel, a big camel with the humps, through the itty bitty tiny eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. So think about that. That's deep. That's saying that this impossible task to smush this camel through the eye of a needle is easier than the mentality or the belief system of a person that does nothing but go after materialism and finds that to be their greatest reward, finds that to be their greatest access. They don't have any access to go through that eye of a needle. They don't have any access to enter the kingdom of heaven. And the Bible reminds us of that. Old tales remind us of that. So this card is asking us to summon this experience of being so singularly focused on the task ahead that it becomes natural to remove everything that is a distraction, every non-essential thing so that we can succeed. So let's say I was focused on materialism and that was it. I found my self-worth and my instant gratification in playing the lottery and buying things and accumulating wealth and accumulating stuff, trucks, boats, cars, trips. If I'm focused on that, then that is a distraction. I can't enter the kingdom of heaven. I can't go through the eye of a needle if my focus is on other things. And it's saying we need to bring our focus singularly in, to directly aim and be intentional on what it is we want to experience in our lives, what it is we want to create. And we can only co-create if we remember that we're a spiritual, energetic being, if we remember that the kingdom of heaven lies within. In order for us to thread the needle or enter this space, the kingdom of heaven, everything not in alignment with our goals and our desires needs to go. Now, this is the only way that you're going to get what you need. It's called shrewd discernment. The eye of the needle looks so tiny, but once your intention threads through it, there's a vast opportunity that is presented on the other side. Once you go through a spiritual awakening and you start clearing out these lower energies of fear, guilt, shame, then those energies come out of our system, and that's when there's room for the new energies to come in. The needle can mend, it can sew things together to make something meaningful and new. So this is reminding us to stay true to our desires. If you want a new life, you're going to have to be willing to give up the things that are not aligned with you anymore. If you want to go through the eye of a needle, if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, our focus cannot be on materialism. Our focus cannot be on people pleasing. Our focus cannot be on overgiving. Our focus cannot be on remaining in toxic situations, people, places, and things that no longer resonate to us because they hold on to us, they grip onto the light, and they stop us from moving forward through the eye of the needle. And we think, I've got to save them. It's my job. I have to martyr myself. I have to save these people. The universe is reminding you that that is absolutely not true. That you are not here to martyr yourself. That you are not here to self-sacrifice yourself. That you have to allow this individual in your life or this situation in your life to have its own stage of evolvement, to go through its own process. It's a soul down here on a mission just like you are. But when the time time comes and you grow and you evolve and you start rising into the higher frequency out of the third dimension reality into the fourth and the fifth, these people, places, and things will fall away. And we need to be very discerning about what energies we allow into our circle. This card is reminding us to stay true to your desires. Stay true to the work or the mission you need to accomplish so that you are laser focused on the experience of creating and manifesting. The outcome is assured by the divine forces. Source wants to have you experience all the abundance, all the love, all the compassion, all the kindness. It doesn't want you to remain in pain and suffering. Those times are times of lessons, and they're needed, granted. But then as we rise in frequency and we become more discerning, we're being asked to set our intentions on what it is we want to create and have faith in the process. The universe and the divine forces are helping these things come into alignment for you in your life. So today, Scorpions, I think the universe is just saying for us to be very intentional with our lives, intentional with what we choose to do, intentional with the people that we hang around with, intentional with our thoughts, intentional with our emotions, intentional with what it is we want to manifest, what it is we desire to experience as the co-creator of the universe. If we want to enter the kingdom of heaven, if we want to enter that space of divine love, then the universe is asking us to take action. It's not just going to come to you. You have to be very intentional with what it is you're trying to accomplish. Very intentional with clarity and always keeping a positive state of mind that your desired reality is manifesting. Now, I've made the mistake of manifesting and then running into a period of time where I doubted it, where I was like, oh yeah, right, whatever. But then I went back and I did some searching and some reevaluating, and I asked the universe, what is it that I'm missing here that I'm not able to bring my manifestations into fruition, fast enough for me? This was all based on impatience. And basically it told me that I was being impatient, but secondly, told me that I could never lose faith in the process. The moment you lose faith and you switch your energy to a low energy vibration of doubt, fear, worry, anxiety, that's when your manifestation can't come into fruition. I just saw 144. So you actually put an energetic blockage in the way of wanting exactly what it was that you were desiring. So today, if this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's make sure that we are being very intentional with the life that is offered to us, with the choices that we have to co-create with the universe the desired experience that we want next. If you enjoyed hanging out with me and you've gotten something out of this little tale told by the tarot, liking, sharing, and subscribing helps this channel grow. I appreciate that so much. And Scorpions, I will see you at your next reading. Peace.